Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to our 2025 Montgomery County Football Media Day. We're still in the home stretch. We're now joined by Northwest head coach Mark Hall and senior Tyler Cooey. I want to thank you guys for just joining me today and doing this. It really means a lot. But, Coach, I just kind of want to jump right into it. 1-9 last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a rough couple of years for the program. Just, coming into your second year as a head coach, were there, obviously you had been a head coach before Northwest, but, were there things that you learned, after last year at your first season at Northwest that you can kind of carry over into year two?
Oh, yeah. A lot of things I learned, just how to prepare the kids each week, for games and whatnot, working with coaching staff, communicating with them better, doing things like that. So there's a lot of things I learned. I learned to delegate. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned probably over the 2 years is how to delegate. Last year I was kind of seeing everything kind of on my own, make sure everything's done. And then this year I've learned to delegate a lot of responsibilities to the coaches. So that's probably the biggest thing I learned since last year is delegation. I don't have to do it all. I don't have to be in the front man on everything. I can delegate to coaches, let them take care of it. So that's probably the biggest thing I've learned.
How much of a load does that kind of take off you when you can, give some responsibility to other people and you can kind of focus on what you need to focus on as a head coach?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I was out in practice the other day. I didn't know what to do because I'm so used to being a position coach and doing this and that. I'm just out there just keeping track of time. Blowing the whistle is all I was doing. And, so it was, it was a different experience for me on that part because I've always been hands-on, involved, and all that kind of stuff. But just to sit back and knowing I got position coaches in every position, and they're all out doing that stuff, and I delegated to keeping time. Yeah. So it's been very, very helpful, very different.
Tyler, from a player perspective, after last season ended, were there things that in the off season going into this year, were there things that you guys as a team, kind of collectively agreed that, hey, we have to get better at this for next year?
I think we definitely had to figure out that we need to stop being so full of ourselves and kind of making sure it's a one team, one person, one team type of thing, that we all work together. We ran as a unit instead of individuals.
How do you guys kind of go about that process to where you're in that transition where, like you said, you're trying to go from making it all about yourselves to kind of putting the team first? What goes into that process?
We kind of just, we hang out after games. We have group chats for the team. We're all friends. There's a big, everybody's my brother on that team. I love everybody dearly on that team. And I think everybody has each other's backs. Everybody knows what each other's doing. And we're all just together.
Yeah, and to piggyback on what he said, this is the first team. I got on to him the other day. We do a lot of messages through Huddle and stuff, and we got two different places. One where we can sit as coaches, you can see it, and then their own. And they get on their own one sometimes. So I got out there. I came home one day. I had 55 emails of where they're sitting there texting each other. Hey, good job on this. Good job on this. One say, hey, I had a bad day. I had a kid. He had a bad day last night. And they're right behind him saying, hey, that's all right, man. This is the time we learn. This time we get better. This is when we make our mistakes. And, I had another 50-something messages on there. So that is something that this team has put together. And, I think they really do kind of care. And I think they're a closer unit.
How much does that, help you when you got a group of guys that, can kind of, I don't want to say police themselves, but they can kind of, they know what they're supposed to be doing. And, they're, like both of you guys said, starting to put the team first. How much does that help you out?
A lot, because that's one of the things that you promote is that team bonding and and playing for each other. When they can go out there and play for each other and not feel like this person's not playing like they're supposed to be playing. He's playing for himself and things like that. But they're coming together, and you can see it that they're playing for each other out there on that field. Trying to take care of each other. And so it's, as a head coach, that's what you want to see. You want to see that unity. You want to see that team come together because I tell them all the time, it's not just 11 on the field. It's not just 11 on defense or offense. It's not 11 on special teams. It's all 60 or whatever. Everybody's got their responsibility on every play, and whether it's on the sideline or on the field or whatever it is, that you're doing it for each other. And they're starting to really grasp that idea.
You've got 4 starters coming back on offense and defense.
Yeah.
Now you're probably, the school in the county.
Right.
Yeah, you're probably the school in the county that gets hurt the most by, kids' families moving in and out because of the military and things like that. That's nobody's fault, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have that much movement, in and out of your roster, how hard is it to kind of find places for guys to play?
Well, I don't think we've had that many move this past year, military-wise or anything like that. I think it's we graduated a class of 27 kids last year. It's a large senior class. This year, I think there's 7 or 8 seniors. I think there's 7 or 8 juniors. So we're young. We're young, and it's not so much that we, people moving in and out. It's just it's just that cycle. Every school goes through it. You have large classes, small classes, and we're in that middle of that cycle right now. While we're so young, we got a ton of freshmen, and I probably had 10 or 12 kids that came out this spring that I didn't even know was interested in football. So I think they're starting to see what we're doing as a program, and they're just wanting to be part of it. So I got a lot of younger guys coming in now that's wanting to be part of it. So that's the thing about our coaching staff. That's the players that's there, showing that, hey, this is what we're about, and there's guys that want to come in and join us.
Tyler, as a senior, like Coach said, when you've got a lot of young players maybe some young guys that are probably going to be playing some significant snaps for you this season, how important is it for you as a senior and the other seniors as well to kind of be those leaders out there for those guys to kind of look up to and follow?
I'm a junior right now.
Yeah, he's
really?
A junior, yeah.
But, last night, actually, during our scrimmage, I think I had 3 sophomores behind me playing at linebacker, and I trusted them completely because I know I played next to them last year. I practiced with them, coached them up to be who they are today, and I think everybody trusts them just the same as anybody else.
Those, like I said, four back on offense, 4 back on defense. Mm-hmm. Who are some guys that you may be looking to fill those roles for you this year?
We got a lot of guys filling roles. I mean, we got we got Jackson coming in as QB. Carter, his brother, twin brother, he was really good last night. He ran the ball hard. He has that I'm not going down mentality. That was probably the biggest surprise of the night for me, just to see him run, knowing that, okay, we got somebody that can handle the ball and handle the rock pretty good. Up front, we got some guys that's coming in that got some playing time last year. Isaiah Patea, playing at tackle, big, strong kid, plays some guard, pulling guard for us. We have a sophomore that came in last year, didn't play at center. So we got a young guy at center that's stepping in, doing a good job at center. We got a bunch of guys across the board on offense. We still got, Brian Miller was a big offensive threat for us last year as a slot position. Of course, he's back this year, and he's still a threat. He's worked a lot of stuff in the offseason, gotten even better. But there's a lot of guys that's not, I can't. It's hard for me to go through and name all up front. On defensive side, we got, like I said, they're all young. Our linebackers coming in, they're aggressive. They were coming to hit people last night, and that's what we like to see. But the guys just feeling it. They're just, it's kind of like a committee thing. I mean, because we'll have guys going both ways, and we got guys filling in. So, that's a good thing. We kind of changed up our defense a little bit, because we got a lot of younger, smaller guys that can move a little bit. So we looked at what we were doing, and we kind of changed some things up.
Moved down from Class 6A to 5A this year. Outside of Clarksville, Rossview, West Creek, that region you're going to be playing in is essentially the same one as last year, just at Henry County.
Just at Henry County.
Yeah. So does that kind of familiarity with the other teams from the county? Kind of, not, I don't want to say an advantage, but you kind of go in there, have somewhat of an idea what they're going to be doing.
Yeah, I mean, all those teams we played before. We didn't play Henry County the past couple of years, but we have before that. But yeah, being that familiar with who we're playing, does help in our mentality on, hey, we understand who they are. It's big rivals. They're all, the town ones are always rivals. Us in Kenwood, us in Northeast. There's two big rival games for us. So it's no surprise for us what they're doing. Because just for the rival of it, it's an awesome rivalry. But bringing in Henry County is a little bit different because how Henry County's been. And they changed coaches, so it's a little bit different thing too down there. So, playing Dixon County, we played Dixon County for the past couple of years, so that for me, it's very helpful. It's very helpful. We got some new teams on our non-district that is kind of interesting because we don't know much about it, but that familiarity in our district, it's very helpful.
Yeah, just going through the schedule really quick. You open with Fort Campbell at home, then you're at Wilson Central.
Well, the Fort Campbell game is not actually a home game. It's a bowl series in Trigg.
Gotcha.
That game's in Trigg. So for the next 2 years, we're playing at that bowl series, playing the late game. There's 2 games going on. So we're in that little series with them for the next 2 years. Still playing Fort Campbell, but at Trigg County.
Yeah, gotcha. And then, after you open Fort Campbell, go to Wilson Central.
6A team, yep.
Davidson Academy at home. Go to Montgomery Central. Then you're at Dixon, Kenwood at home, at Creekwood, Henry County, and Kirkwood at home. Then you round out the season at Northeast. But Tyler, just from a player perspective, Coach obviously isn't out there running the reps with you guys, playing in the scrimmages and stuff like that. But from a player perspective, how much would you say you guys have grown throughout the offseason from the end of last season to now?
I think this team has grown more than any other team that I know of. Like last season, it felt disconnected. Everything was kind of sloppily ran. I mean, we'd had some good moments, but not few far between. I think this year we're going to make a big impact. We've grown a lot.
Coach, where do you think the biggest area that they've improved in, from not even the start of or the end of last season, just from, the start of spring practice to now?
I think it's the same thing. It's just how the players are coming together. We talk about all the time about being together, wanting to be around each other. That's a great thing. Seeing them. You even saw it last year in the building. They were hanging around each other, and when you're a team sport, that's really what you want. You want that close knit group. We talk about brotherhood all the time. Last year I started with brotherhood, and we'll continue. This is just brotherhood 2025, and we talk about all the time how we use the deal with the Vikings. Coming from different families and things, and coming in for a common cause. That's what we're doing. We're all different types of families that we're coming from areas, but they're coming in together as a brother. Forming that brotherhood, and schemes is great and everything, but if you don't have that brotherhood that's locking them guys together, then schemes don't. It's not going to make any difference. But that's what I like seeing out of this group is that closeness, that brotherhood that they're putting out there.
I remember last year, it was one of your first couple weeks as head coach. We were out there at practice, and you said that, step number one for you was focusing on changing the culture. Mm-hmm. Just, how has that process been going for you, and kind of what are some of the things that you've been trying to work on to try and change that culture?
I think just what he's been saying speaks testament to what we've been doing as a coaching staff. It's just not me. Yes, I'm the guys that's putting it out there, but I've got some coaches that really are dedicated to that too. They're wanting the same type of things. So it's just not me putting it out there wanting to change the culture and everything. It's these coaches that have been. Some of them have been some in the past before I became the head coach, and they're working. They're wanting that too. But just like right there, speaks volumes of what we're trying to do, and And I think a lot of people in our area and people in the city of Clarksville are seeing a difference in what we're trying to do at Northwest. And, I think it's all been positive.
Tyler, after a 1-9 season last year, we've talked about the growth you guys have made this offseason. In your mind, what does a successful season look like this year?
A successful season? Really anything better, building on what we did last year. Anything building more up and up. Never want to dip down back to where we were. Just want to keep building on, make this team better, make the culture better. And the future teams, we could change that culture and just make it better for future teams. Be the change is what he used to say.
Yep.
When he got there. And I think that we're all being that change, and soon Northwest is not going to be looked at as how they're normally looked at.
Coach, what do you think a successful season looks like?
A successful season, maybe one, yeah, and on the win-loss record, we all want to win. One of my biggest things is seeing these young men grow, become men. To me, that's successful. As of wins and losses, seeing that first playoff appearance would be great. It's been a long time since Northwest been in the playoffs. I mean, I think we're in a district where we're capable to do that. That's where I'm looking for. Getting in that first playoff, however we can get there. But being able to get into the playoffs, being one of those top 4 teams, I'm good with number 4. Just to get in there. It's just start showing that what the hard work these guys have been putting in.
I want to thank Coach Hall and Tyler for joining me today to continue our 2025 Montgomery County Football Media Day. You can check out the Vikings this fall, and you can check out all of our high school football coverage at mainstreetclarksville.com.